You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the WLXU app on your smartphone device to listen anywhere in the entire world. It has been 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, since you've heard Off the Cuff on the radio, and 2 weeks feels like an eternity, doesn't it, Amber?
It does.
It does. It feels good to be back.
You look so festive over there.
I do, don't I?
I love it.
I do. And, I'm looking at the Facebook live stream that we have going on here, and you can't see it unless you go to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks on Facebook and click on our Facebook live stream. You can see the studio is decorated.
And how angelic you look sitting underneath the Christmas lights.
Underneath the mistletoe.
Well, I don't necessarily see mistletoe, but I do see some beautiful Christmas lights.
I do, and it puts me in a great mood.
It does.
It puts me in a really, really good mood, Amber. But before we get into just the Christmas festivities and it being Christmas time, we are back finally in the studio.
And it's just the two of us.
It is. And here lately, that's rare because we've been having so many guests come in and sit down and join us, which I love it. I appreciate it. But it's always good just to have things just real calm and tame.
Yes.
It is.
Especially when you get a little frantic.
It is. And I don't like last week, we did a replay show. We played last week. We played the show before. So we played... Is that making any sense?
We played a great show.
We played a great show.
We replayed a great show.
We replayed a great show. And it was, I appreciate everybody listening, and I hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving. I definitely did. And I love Thanksgiving. I said, and I got a lot of flack for it, I said Thanksgiving is one of those holidays, just like Halloween, you have no pressure. And I said that, and after I said it, I got so much flack over that, people saying, what are you talking about, no pressure? Like, that is the holiday to have pressure, and for some people that is the holiday where they have the most pressure, especially if you're over the cooking.
Well, I'm going to defend you right now because this was the first year that I was invited to cook. Yeah. I actually was invited to cook. I think I talked to you about how nervous I was, and it still was no pressure.
Yeah.
I was cooking.
Right.
I cook every day.
Yeah.
I understand people who cook for 30, 40 people, but when you're cooking for 5 or 6 people, you do that every day anyways. I don't understand why people got so upset.
Exactly. And it was nice just to be around the family. Me and my family, we go around the table every single year and we tell each other what we're thankful for. I felt like I was on Off the Cuff again because that's what I did. That's what I did on the last episode. Told everybody what I was thankful for. And, can you believe the madness, though, has officially begun because Christmas time is officially here.
It is.
And I consider Christmas time here the day after Thanksgiving.
I do, too. I actually put my tree up the day right after Thanksgiving.
I don't understand people who don't. I think what's special about Christmas is that short window that we have. That short window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we have on... that we get to experience Christmas for 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, because it's just a time that, everybody, even the grumpiest of people, are usually just kind of happy. So it's 3 weeks of peace.
Yeah.
Even though there's madness, it's still peace.
I've been doing this radio show now, Amber, for about 7 months, from 4 to 5 on Thursdays.
Oh, we do a radio show?
Yeah, and you would think that people would know that I'm busy during this time, so why call my cell phone when especially this person who called, knows, and probably listening to the show, that I'm busy right now. I'm a little busy and I can't answer your phone call. So I'm sorry. I'll call you during the first commercial break. I'll call you back. But I'm in the Christmas spirit this year. I have garland. I have tinsel everywhere. I absolutely love it. It is the most wonderful time of the year, and I'm in the spirit.
You're always in the spirit, though.
For Christmas.
You always are.
People don't decorate the outside of their houses like I'm used to seeing. Back in the day, I remember driving around and people would always decorate their house, and it was always a spectacle to see, but I don't see that a lot this year.
And it was something that we done as a family. I don't know if you guys did this, but we would actually drive up and down the creek and look at all the different houses, because there were 5 or 6 houses on the creek that would go all out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys done that or not, but I always looked forward to that.
It was always fun to go and look at the houses that were really decorated.
And there were like 5 that were just like, wow.
People will drive to see your house if it's decorated pretty.
We actually, I don't know if I've told you this or not, but in our subdivision, we have a house that is probably the most magnificent thing I've ever seen. We'll try to look at it if I've not shown it to you.
Yeah, I would love to.
You'll love it.
I would love to see it. But Christmas music galore, and as a matter of fact, all the songs, all the music that we're going to be playing from now until Christmas will be Christmas music.
I ain't mad about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, why not? This time, it's here. Whether you like it or not, Christmas time is here. So you're going to hear a bunch of Christmas music. Have you watched Home Alone yet?
I have. I've actually watched Home Alone.
Christmas Vacation?
Not Christmas Vacation yet, but A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
I've watched that one. And I watched the making of Die Hard. I feel like that's an underrated Christmas movie. I watched the making of that.
It's interesting that you say that, though. Is a Christmas movie considered a Christmas movie if it's just based around the time of, if they film it during the time of Christmas?
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I just have always, people really enjoy Die Hard at Christmas, and I think it's just because it breaks social norms of what we think. Like, people think Miracle on 34th Street and things like that.
Right.
And then, like, here's like this, action-packed movie.
Yeah. But Die Hard, I don't consider Die Hard a Christmas movie, but a lot of people would argue and say it is because it's set around Christmas. Like Home Alone, for the longest time, I mean, and when I look back on it, I'm like, that's 100% Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And they really did push that to be a Christmas movie.
Yes, they did.
But I used to not consider that a Christmas movie. I didn't.
But what'd you consider it?
Just a real good comedy.
Okay.
I didn't consider it Christmas until I was aware and I realized, okay, wow, this really is a Christmassy movie.
Yeah.
Like the whole theme of it's based around Christmas. But I hate it when there's just a movie that's set on Christmas, like Just Friends, like that Anna Faris movie.
That's a good movie.
That's a great movie.
But I don't consider that a Christmas movie.
I wouldn't consider that a Christmas movie, but it's shot around Christmas. They're celebrating the holidays throughout the whole movie.
They push it at Christmas. I think it's on all the streaming services right now.
Yeah.
So I never even looked at it that way.
It's just odd that when you take a movie that has really nothing to do with Christmas and you call it a Christmas movie because the time frame of the movie is during the Christmas time. I don't necessarily consider that a Christmas movie. But anyway, you said you put up a tree, Amber, for the first time. Me and you put up a tree together. It was like a new tradition. We put it in our home studio at your house.
We did, and it was actually I put up my tree downstairs, and I've decorated my house to the nines. I've got garland all the way up my stairs. And
I love that, by the way.
It's so nice. And we had toyed with the concept of putting a tree in our room because we wanted to be able to look at it when we watched our Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And we put one up, and Adam, I just wanted to say, it was actually a really nice experience. You done something that was just very, I don't want to say out of the norm for you because I don't want people to, think that you don't do sincere things, because you do a lot of the times, but you done something that was just very sincere. You brought over ornaments for us to put on the tree, and I hadn't, that thought never even crossed my mind.
Ornaments?
For ornaments. I thought, okay, we'll set this little tree up, put lights up. So that was such a precious moment between us. It really was.
And what was special about those ornaments were special to me because they were handmade by my grandfather, Bill.
Absolutely an amazing, amazing artist.
And he listens to the show. I'm sure he's listening right now. So shout out to Bill, my grandpa. And thanks for those ornaments.
Thank you, Bill, just for existing because you're awesome. But thank you for making those ornaments.
Okay, now Amber, am a little stressed, though, because it is December the 5th.
Yes.
And Christmas time is exactly 20 days away.
Yep.
And I have not gotten any shopping done. I know I said that I was wanting to go Black Friday shopping. I didn't do the first piece of shopping. I didn't go shopping at all.
Well, I'm sure you're not the only one.
I didn't. I missed it, and I missed Cyber Monday. I missed it. And I'm getting really stressed about it. My anxiety is going through the roof because I'm looking on social media and I'm seeing where people are writing, done with shopping, finished shopping, got all my shopping done on Black Friday. And now I'm freaking out because I'm looking online now. There are no deals left.
Well, but
there's no discounts, and I've not bought the first thing.
Well, but Look, people who always say, I got my Christmas shopping done. Yeah, well, Susan, when you put that toy together, it's probably going to fall apart. So,
And I like that. I mean, yeah.
I mean, you got to look at it from that. I mean, Black Friday, it is out there because there's good deals, but you're not always getting quality. So I think you're good.
I read some interesting things about Cyber Monday this past Monday. It was expected that we would spend as Americans $9 billion total on Cyber Monday. Yeah, there is no national debt. You can't convince me that there's a national debt when we can
spend $9 billion
in one day for online shopping. I mean, and isn't it sad to think that we feel like that we have to spend a lot of money on people to show our love?
You know, I actually dropped that feeling about 2 years ago when, I really kind of got involved with the Turner family, and they really showed me the true meaning of Christmas. I'm not trying to have a How the Grinch Stole Christmas moment, but they did. They showed me it's just about family and togetherness. So, and your family's very similar to them. You know that your mom and dad are not going to care what you buy them. They just want to see you.
Black Friday, though, there are people that take it so serious. People take shopping and gift buying so serious, and they really will knock you in the head over a certain gift. Amber, there's always a certain gift. There's always a certain toy every year that's just a hot commodity. A toy that people would literally shave your head for. They'd shave their head for, and they would drop serious money on it. Even if the toy is $30, sometimes that toy can be so in demand, they'll spend $300, $400, $500 on the toy. I have a list of the famous must-have toys in the past for Christmas. Like I said, there's always just that one that stands out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go through this list, and I want you to tell me if you remember any of these, and actually let me know if you ever had any of these. Okay, so we're going to start the list off in 1952 with the Mr. Potato Head. That was the hot commodity item that everybody wanted in 1952. Mr. Potato Head. Understandable. Yeah. It's still a cool toy.
I was going to say, I think I had a Mr. Potato Head.
It has stayed true today to being a toy that everybody likes to have. In 1975, Amber, a pet rock was and it was called Pet Rock. That was the hot commodity.
Was it a legitimate
toy.
Just rock?
It was just a rock. I mean, how crazy is that? People were shopping hours and hours on end trying to find this item because it was sold out, and it was just a rock. It made $15 million one holiday.
But why didn't people just go outside and dig one up out in the yard?
You would think, and the kids wouldn't know a difference.
Exactly.
That's silly. 1983, listen to this, Cabbage Patch Dolls.
Okay.
Did you ever have a Cabbage Patch doll?
I had a Cabbage Patch doll, and I loved that thing so much, I actually sent the birth certificate in.
Those things are so ugly.
Well, I never said they was pretty. I just said I loved them.
1983, they became the most popular must-have toy for that holiday. Parents were actually getting into fights in parking lots trying to get their hands on one of these Cabbage Patch dolls.
Wow.
Yes, Transformers was the toy to have in 1984. 1985, Teddy Ruxpin. Do you remember that little teddy bear?
I had one, and I'm pretty sure mine was possessed, so let's keep rolling.
They said it was a really scary...
It was a scary little bear.
1989, the Nintendo Game Boy was the must-have toy. Everybody wanted that Nintendo Game Boy, and it's still today one of the most highly sought. Let's see what's it say. It says the sales from Christmas 1989 turned the handheld video game into one of the best-selling electronic devices of all time. Now, I had one of those.
Yeah,
I actually had one of those. Barney, the Barney doll was the doll to have in 1992.
Okay.
And Barney was a big show in the early 90s. I'm not going to lie. I watched a little bit of Barney growing up.
Yeah, well, I still watch Barney sometimes. You know that.
Now, in 1993, this was the hot commodity.
Okay.
And I had this, and I kid you not, my mom could verify this. I got this for Christmas one year. And still to this date, from 1993, I've never had something that's made me more happy in my entire life. And I think my love of radio started from this toy.
Okay.
In 1993, the must-have toy was the Talk Boy from Home Alone 2. Yes, the Talk Boy was featured in the Home Alone 2 that Kevin had, right?
Yeah.
They sold so many Talk Boys that they had to stop advertising because the supply or the demand outweighed the supply significantly.
Wow.
They had to stop making them. They had to stop advertising them because they couldn't afford to make them anymore. Really quick, Beanie Babies was the toy to have in 1995. Do you remember people would would stand in line for hours for a Beanie Baby.
When you say people, you're really meaning me, because that's exactly what I done.
Well, did you know that people thought, I remember people saying these are going to be worth a lot of money one day.
And they are.
Are they?
Yes.
Are they?
I had a Princess Diana limited edition Beanie Baby, and I'm pretty sure you can go on eBay and they're like $1,500, $1,600.
Tickle Me Elbow was the 1996 doll to have. I remember that vividly. I actually remember that more than anything, and maybe it's just because I was a little older. I was a little bit more aware. I was 8. I remember this toy. You couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
It was priced for $30. People were spending upwards of $600-$700 on the Tickle Me Elbow.
Oh, goodness.
Just to have it for Christmas. And the thing about it is, after Christmas,
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. You could get the Tickle Me Elbow for $30 in January.
You probably got it on clearance in January.
But people, they felt like, in order to show their love for their kids, they have to have the hot commodity item. The Tamagotchi was the toy.
Oh, Tamagotchi?
Tamagotchi. Yes. That was like the little baby handheld thing.
Oh, you could not tear me away from my Tamagotchi or my Geo-Pet.
Furbies was the 1998.
Dude, did you have one of those?
I did
you
not.
have a Furby?
No.
That thing was so weird. My grandmother, my granny Vera, for Christmas that year wanted one, and that thing would come on and it would blink its eyes at me, and I finally got real upset one night and I threw a pillow at it and I busted it, and she busted me. She whooped me as the first and last time she ever whooped me.
Anything and everything Pokemon in 1999. And the Razor scooter in 2000 was the big one to have. The Bratz dolls in 2001. The Beyblades in 2002. I can tell as we're getting older. I'm noticing that I'm not recognizing some of these toys. Xbox 360 was the one in 2005. PlayStation 3 2006. Nintendo Wii 2008. And the Zuzu Pets for 2009. And it's saying that there's not been a hot commodity toy since 2009.
I'm a little upset that Barbie was nowhere on that list.
I guess Barbie's never... It's always been something that people get all year.
True.
All year long. All right, Amber, we got lots more off the cuff coming at you live right after these words. Stick with us.
Christmas time's coming. Christmas time's coming. Christmas time's coming.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Off the Cuff. Christmas time's a-coming, and my music's still a-skipping.
Well, it had to just take a break for a minute.
You know, I get mad when that happens.
That's all right.
Christmas time is coming. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, I do this every single year, and I'm very, very excited to do it again this year. I've been doing it since 2016. It is now time for me to reveal, off the cuffs, 10 most fascinating people according to Adam Banks. So every year since 2016, I've compiled a list of 10 people that I find fascinating.
Okay.
Now, if you look up the word fascinating in the dictionary, the word fascinating means very interesting. Now, if you make this list, the Off the Cuffs 10 Most Fascinating list of 2019, that doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that I like you. It doesn't necessarily mean that I even respect you.
Yeah.
It just means that you are fascinating.
Yeah.
And fascinating is extremely interesting. So in order to make the list, you have to be extremely newsworthy.
Okay.
You had to be something... you had to be something to talk about this year.
Okay.
Everybody was talking about you. It was just one of those things where it was your year where everybody was mentioning you.
Yeah.
And you might not be a good person,
But
you're
you meet the criteria.
but you're still on the list. So yeah, and Amber doesn't know, just like the audience at home.
No, he keeps me in the dark, guys.
Amber doesn't know who's on the list, so I'm very excited to start with the list. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin and start with number 10 on the Off the Cuffs 10 Most Fascinating People according to Adam Banks for 2019. At number 10, the spot belongs to
I believe I can fly.
R. Kelly. Now, everybody knows that R. Kelly, ladies and gentlemen, was accused on February 22nd, 2019, from the Cook County State Attorney's Office in Illinois, charged Kelly with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. So, he turned himself in the day of the charges, the day it was announced. It was a $1 million bond was set, and the court ordered Kelly to have no contact with any minor under 18 or any alleged victim. He pled not guilty to the charges. On March 6, On March 6, 2019, Kelly sat down with an interview with. Do you remember his interview with Gayle King
Yes, unfortunately.
when he had the massive explosion?
Yes.
When he stood up and was like, "I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
Y'all ruining my name."
For my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man.
Do you think that R. Kelly was innocent?
No, he absolutely is not innocent. But it does not take away what the man put out there into the world.
Yeah,
you can't take that away from him.
He put out great music.
He did.
At this point, we
Yeah. He put out some great music. All right. Number 10 was R. Kelly.
Okay.
Great way to start it off. Number 9, Amber, I'm going to keep it local.
Okay.
Number 9, I'm going to go with Lynn Bowden.
Okay.
Who was forced into the quarterback position for the UK football team. He had a great game against Louisville. I don't know if you got to watch that. He rushed 22 times for 284 yards, which equates to nearly 13 yards per carry.
Wow.
On top of that, Amber, he got into the end zone 4 different times. He broke or tied 6 different records, and the Cats beat Louisville. And what's amazing about Lynn Bowden is he wasn't the original quarterback. They did not plan for him to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is a receiver.
Yeah.
And was just asked to be a quarterback. And he went in and not only was a quarterback, but was an amazing quarterback and has won many quarterback awards.
Wow.
So it's going to have to be Lynn Bowden for what's wrong?
You're good. Keep going. You're good.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Number 8 on the list is Matt Jones, keeping it local again from Kentucky Sports Radio. I like him, hate him. The man was fascinating this year. He caused a huge uproar for Mitch McConnell's just life, his campaign in general. He was fired from his TV show because of it. Hey, Kentucky. He flirted around with the U.S. Senate run and decided not to run. But after getting everybody's hopes up, I know he lost a lot of respect from a lot of his listeners.
Probably, and not only did he lose respect, he lost his job.
Yeah. So Matt Jones definitely made some waves in 2019. Nora O'Donnell.
Okay.
Amber is going to be number 7. Got to get a female on the list. If you don't know who that is, she is the main evening news anchor for the CBS Evening News, and it made her the second woman to ever be the solo anchor for that broadcast. Of course, as you know, Katie Couric held that position from 2006 to 2011, and Connie Chung co-anchored the program with Dan Rather from 1993 to 1995. But Nora O'Donnell became a woman who got to speak to the entire world. It's rare when a woman gets to speak to the entire world. Think about it. There's not many out there that get to do that.
No.
Oprah Winfrey's one of them.
Yeah.
And now Nora O'Donnell's another one. I'm sure there's more. Of course,
there's going to be more.
There's several.
But
it's not something that you see a lot, especially at the news desk.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. The news desk.
And they're doing some different things over at CBS. They now have Nora not broadcasting the CBS News from New York like it has been for years.
Yeah. Well, where's she broadcasting from?
From Washington, D.C. They just moved it.
Wow.
Yeah, they just moved it from New York to D.C. First time that's ever happened.
I think that was a good move, actually.
Ratings were soaring. Ratings have soared ever since they made the move from New York to D.C. I don't know if people feel like it's more newsworthy coming out of D.C., the nation's capital.
You got to think the thing that we want to hear about all the time is what's going on in our country, and what better place to talk about it?
Yeah,
is right in the heart of the country.
Yeah. Honest to God. So she took the anchor desk July 15th, 2019, and she does the 6:30 evening news. A lot of big people have held that seat. People like Dan Rather, which was always my personal favorite. People like Walter Cronkite, which was an absolute legend. Everybody knows Walter Cronkite.
Yep.
And he's legendary broadcaster. And Jeff Glor held the seat. I even like Jeff, but I don't think Jeff's ratings were too good for CBS, so they canned him. They did. So she has, of course, landed several interviews, including the Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, among many, many, many others. Many others.
Okay.
All right. Number 6 on the list. Keeping it local, Ember. Still keeping it local for this. I'm going to go with Rocky Atkins.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that's Rocky Atkins picking a little banjo.
Is it?
That's Rocky, who could have been our governor. And I think that if he would have ran against Mitch McConnell for Senate, he could have been our new U.S. Senate.
What better
Senator.
leader to have for the bluegrass state than a man who can play bluegrass?
Who can pick a little banjo and sing a little bluegrass.
And sing a little...
He's even got a commercial where he's sitting out on the front porch, and he's like, hey, I'm Rocky Atkins. And I even pick a little banjo. And he does. But I was really hoping that this guy, Rocky, would make a run for the U.S. Senate seat against Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
But Andy Beshear gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. He made him his senior advisor, which, Amber, do you know what a senior advisor does?
I don't know their details.
They don't do anything.
Oh, well, I need that. That sounds like my job.
So it's the perfect job. They don't do nothing. They get paid a lot of money. I'm talking six figures, and they don't do nada. Don't do nothing. So,
well, I mean, I could do that job real well.
yeah, he won the state over. And it's hard for you to hear that and really believe me when I say that he ran for governor and didn't win. But that's not really the way politics works. Not always the most popular guy wins. It all depends. Of the way politics works is there's some people that steals votes, and when I say stealing, there's somebody that shouldn't have run and was stealing Rocky's votes that should have went to Rocky. Maybe somebody wanted to vote for Rocky, but they voted for the independent instead because they didn't know which party to go for.
Yeah.
So it's Rocky. I think that if there was a man that could have beat Mitch McConnell,
it could have been him.
it could have been Rocky, even more so than Matt Jones. I know Matt Jones probably don't want to hear that, but
I mean, I didn't. Honestly, I don't even consider Matt Jones even being in the running. I'm sorry.
Number 5 on Off the Cuff's 10 most fascinating people list, according to Adam Banks, Amber, is Nick Sandman. I don't know if you recognize the Sandman, but Nick, January 18th, 2019, right at the start of 2019, made huge waves in the media. He was the kid from Covington Catholic High School who was confronted by Native American Nathan Phillips, and the media vilified Nick Sandman, saying that he was just a little twerp, that he was smirking at this man, being disrespectful, and it come to find out after more footage come out that there couldn't have been anything more further from the truth. Nick was an innocent bystander. He was just an innocent student standing there at the Lincoln Memorial the day that this happened.
Yeah.
And this Native American come up and was banging a drum and was claiming that he was trying to get past the Covington Catholic kids, but he clearly wasn't. And the video it was showing that he was not making an effort to go to the Lincoln Memorial like he said he was trying to.
Yeah.
Because there was a clear path to Abe Lincoln's little statue, and he wasn't taking the clear path. He was just staring the kid down, and Nick Sandman just started. He didn't do anything back, didn't say anything, didn't stare. He just kind of smiled back at the Native American.
Which is exactly what I would have done.
Which was the most peaceful thing that you could do, and then all of a sudden, the internet crucified him.
Yep.
I mean, people like Bill Maher, I'm talking...
It was everywhere for a while.
These news anchors.
And people forgot that these were high school children.
They were saying, this guy needs punched, this guy needs smacked. Okay, first of all, he's a kid.
He's a child.
And second of all, when you go back and look at the videos, the man just smiled back at him. And there was an interview by Nick Sandman said that smile was just him it was a sign that he was sending back to Nathan Phillips saying, I'm not going to let you defeat me.
Well, because they both had purpose there that day. They both were there supporting what they believed in. And I admired him for actually going out there at a young age and standing up for something he believed in. He just believed in, the state of the nation at the time and where we were. And unfortunately, I guess not unfortunately, because isn't he suing? He's in a huge lawsuit right now.
Huge lawsuit. I think like multi-million-dollar lawsuits.
Multi-million.
But I think the judge has dismissed that, though.
I don't think that it's been dismissed on all levels. I really don't.
Imagine being... you talk about, at the end of the day, how lucky you are. You got crucified by the internet, and a lot of people, but now that the truth has come out, not only have you now been redeemed, your reputation's been redeemed.
But has it?
But you can be a multimillionaire.
Has it, though?
It should be.
But
But has
should
it?
be and has. I don't think he has, because people still use that as a meme all the time.
They do.
Like, I'm being petty at the grocery store, and here's this poor little, 18-year-old boy who was just chilling, standing there, giving a little smile.
And it's frustrating, too, that people refuse to know the truth. They refuse to try to seek the truth. And a lot of people do that. They'll see a heading, and they'll just go ahead and make their own assumptions from a heading of an article. They won't read the article.
Exactly.
They'll have an opinion about something, but won't look into the details. Okay, if you just look at that picture of Nick Sandman, yeah, he looks just like a little twerp.
Yeah, but if he's looking like a twerp, so what?
But when you look into the story, you realize that it was a video taken out of context. And but this guy, Nick Sandman, he was vilified so much after President Donald Trump, seen the videos that he was being vilified for nothing. Took up for him. This little kid is nothing short of fascinating. All right, Amber, I'm being rushed to take another quick commercial break, and we've got more fascinating people to talk about here on Off the Cuff. Stick with us to find out the rest of the list right here after these words.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in the studio with me. All right, we have been discussing Off the Cuff's 10 most fascinating people of 2019, according to Adam Banks, and we went over the top 5 so far, from 10 to 5. We're now on number 4, Amber. We're going to continue the list with Jeopardy James. James Halser comes in on the list at number 4. You guys know James Halser. He was the guy that would not lose on Jeopardy. He kept racking up the dough. He was a sports gambler, had a bachelor's degree in mathematics from the University of Illinois. Very fascinating guy. And what was crazy about this man was Jeopardy wasn't the only game show he went on. He went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and won $28,000.
Wow.
So this guy was just a guy who could go on TV shows and win money.
And we need to become friends with him. Maybe he'll hear Off the Cuff.
Coming in at number 3, I wonder if you recognize this name. Number 3, Matty Roberts.
Matty Roberts.
He was the man behind the Area 51.
Yeah.
Yes, the weirdest internet phenomenon of the summer was created by Matty Roberts. Now, this guy, fascinating gentleman. He worked at a vape shop.
Okay.
In his everyday life. So just a typical normal man. And he sparked a movement. He made a Facebook page, and he entitled it Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop Us All. He went to sleep, and when he woke up the morning of June 27th, 2019, he noticed that he'd gotten a few dozen likes. Some were funny memes. But then after a couple hours, after he thought it already hit its peak, he noticed that people started going crazy over this movement. And he said all of a sudden it started getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and then 3,000 likes and 4,000 likes, and then before he knew it, it was hundreds of thousands of likes of people who were wanting to storm Area 51. This one kid, this one young man started a movement, and he was quickly shut down by the FBI and said, "You better not do this."
I think that was. I agree with you on that. That was pretty cool.
It was.
That was pretty cool.
I mean, think about it. I've always wanted to have a video or something go viral.
Yeah.
And you know how good that has to feel, and how good he had to feel waking up and seeing that he
But at the same time,
started
like,
a movement.
I just wonder, like, I could see you doing something like that, like doing something funny, and then boom, it goes viral, and you're like, wait, I didn't mean for that to go viral. I wanted this to go viral. Like, that would be our luck.
All right, number 2 on the list. We're getting closer to that number 1. Number 2 of Off the Cuff's 10 most fascinating people of 2019, according to Adam Banks, keeping it local. The number 2 spot's going to go to Lee Cruz.
Oh,
Lee Cruz. Hey, say what you want. Say what you want to about that man, but he's fascinating, Amber. Fascinating. The man got fired. The man got canned by LAX, and now he's the biggest thing in Lexington. After a controversial statement made about the royal baby, that controversy helped his career.
Skyrocketed.
And he's, before the controversy happened, you might have heard of Lee Cruz, but now everybody in the city of Lexington knows who Lee Cruz is.
Not just the city of
the whole
Lexington.
state, because
Not
ABC
even
36
just the state,
has been
man.
burning it up. Yeah.
He went like
Viral. Washington Post was covering this story.
Let me tell you who knows who Lee Cruz is.
Who?
Meghan Markle. you know her publicist showed her that.
You absolutely.
So Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, I'm sure Queen Elizabeth saw it.
Yeah, they know who
They
Lee
know
Cruz
who
is.
Lee Cruz is.
Yeah.
So I agree. Lee Cruz, you are the second most fascinating person, according to Adam Banks.
According to Adam Banks here on Off the Cuff. So, Lee Cruz, you definitely made the list, my man. And you've got a new show coming. You've redeemed yourself. You've redeemed yourself. You've got a new show coming. It's going to be it's a highly anticipated show. A lot of people are excited to watch it. 4 to 5 on ABC 36. It's going to be a interesting show.
Now,
And
when's this starting?
February,
Okay.
sometime in February.
Okay.
And that's all due to Haley Harmon, who, well, quote unquote, Haley Harmon, they haven't really been able to say it's
Yeah.
Haley, but I think everybody's putting 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
That is her. Well, no, haven't they announced that it's her?
They did. They announced that it was gonna be
And then
her.
they took it away and said, or, I don't know.
They put like her in a chicken costume. I didn't quite understand that one, but I just rolled with it.
It worked.
It worked.
And people are talking about it.
Exactly.
So, Lee Cruz, you're fascinating.
Yep.
All right.
Are we ready for number one?
I wish we had a drum roll.
I was going to say I'll do a drum roll.
Can you make a drum roll
Yep.
for me? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Off the Cuffs, 10 most fascinating people, according to Adam Banks, goes to... It's a great drum roll.
You better say it quick.
Lori Loughlin.
Yay!
Lori Loughlin, ladies and gentlemen. We covered her. One of the first topics we covered here on Off the Cuff, getting on the radio, was Lori Loughlin. Lori Loughlin is very fascinating because she was known for being charged in a nationwide college admissions scandal earlier this year. Prosecutors allege that her and her husband paid $500,000 to William Rick Singer so that their 2 daughters, Olivia Jade and Isabel Rose, could pose as University of Southern California crew recruits to ensure their admission into the college. Lori Loughlin and her husband, they said that they were innocent, they pled not guilty, and that's just got them into a mess of trouble, and now they're facing up to 50 years in prison because they refused to take the plea deal, which would require them to go to prison for, 2-3 years?
Well, I think Felicity Huffman done 10 days,
And now she's
out.
It's off. She's
and
scotch-free.
People respect her.
Yeah.
she done the crime. She paid the time. She's going on. Lori Loughlin won't come down off that
pedestal. She was signing autographs on the way to the courthouse.
Well, this story broke literally the day that I'm sitting in a New York airport coming back. Like, I'm reading it and I'm getting so upset. And there's a lady that's sitting close to Wiley and I, and she's reading it and she literally lets out the biggest, "No, I love her," right in the middle of like this busy airport in New York. So I would love to see that woman now and be like, "Hey, do you still feel that same way now?" Because you were you had so much conviction in your voice that day.
She loved her some
She
Lori
loved
Loughlin.
her, Lori Loughlin, and now, Lori thinks she's above the law.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is Off the Cuffs, 10 most fascinating people of 2019.
Hey, can I add my one on there, though?
According to Adam Banks. Absolutely, go ahead.
My number one most fascinating person of 2019 is going to be Adam Banks himself.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Well, I mean, here we go. We've got this, this country boy who went, left Eastern Kentucky. He went to Moorhead. Not only got his bachelor's, got his master's. He's a successful college professor. And in 1 year, you have put yourself on live television and you're live on the radio. Why would you not be my most fascinating person?
Well, I really appreciate that. That really means a lot to me.
I'll take all forms of payment. So you can pay me after the show.
I know it's really what a year it's been, 2019, honestly.
Yep.
And I do plan on doing an episode before the year ends, 2019, and to talk about and reflect on the year 2019. But professionally and really just personally, because my professional career is my personal life.
You make it your personal life.
It's been one of the best years of my life. It really has, 2019.
I'm excited to hear, us do a reflection and an overview.
The reflection year.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got one more segment to go here on Off the Cuff, so stick with us. We'll be right back after these words.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell swing and jingle.
Welcome back back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Last segment of the hour. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in the studio with me. UK once again takes that Governor's Cup trophy. They beat Louisville this weekend, Amber. For the second year in a row, they defeated Louisville 45-13 for the second straight year to retain that. What a great year for UK football. I usually bash on Mark Stoops, but when the guy's winning 7 games, it's hard to say anything about him. So now the Kentucky football season's over. They finished the season 7-5, 3-5 in the conference.
Okay.
Not a very attractive record for the conference play, but pretty typical for Stoops. But 7-5 overall for the season, and we're now awaiting to find out which bowl we're going to play in. I've been hearing the Belk Bowl, which I'm a fan of because we've been to the Music City several times.
Yeah.
We've been to the Citrus Bowl already. We've been to the Tax Slayer Bowl. I want to do a bowl we've never done. We've never done the Belk Bowl. I'm all for the Belk Bowl.
Now, I need to know, I don't watch much football.
Yeah.
What is the... Are you saying belt or belk?
Belk, B-E-L-K.
Okay,
because these bowls are sponsored by big corporations, so that's why it's called like Tax Slayer Bowl.
Oh, like Belk, the department store.
Yeah, it's Belk. It's the Belk department store. And
so typically, who's in that, or is it like a Mod Podge of?
The way bowls work, it's just usually just based off record, based off strength of schedule, and it's just an extra kind of game for the fans to enjoy, and it's just an extra game for you to boost your record. And,
okay.
Yeah, and it's some people care about bowls, some people don't. Kentucky, we're going to another one. We're going to a decent one. Belk Bowl is always decent. I think it's in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
So the players probably aren't too pumped about that. Usually people like to go to bowls where it's warm.
Yeah, like
summertime.
in a big city.
Yeah. So the Belk Bowl is what we are... that's what I've been hearing. So, and then I've been hearing Virginia Tech as the possible opponent. But so far over, if we want to look at UK overall, just look at the season overall, reflect on the season, I think it was pretty good. Mark Stoops, he's now been at Kentucky 7 years. He still has a losing record, Amber, 43-44.
Oh.
His record in the conference is 20-36. People they act like that this man is the...
Go ahead and say it.
It's hard to say things, though, when he is winning 7 games a season. It is.
But
it is.
You got to look at the overall picture.
You do. And the overall picture, I just don't think he's a good coach. I think he makes so many elementary mistakes that a coach shouldn't make. And I see people calling in now, and I'm not taking phone calls. I'm not taking phone calls, and I'm not turning this into a Mark Stoops show. But congratulations to the cast going to the Belk Bowl. I think it'll be great. Amber, I love movies, love going to the movies. And,
yes.
And before we go, I want to talk about a movie that you and I both got to watch last week. We got to watch A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers movie, beautifully played by the ever so great Tom Hanks. I watched the movie and I was very excited to see it because I grew up watching Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid on PBS, I grew up watching him. 30-minute program, and it was just a good message, and I don't think there's things like that on TV anymore to our kids.
Absolutely not.
And I was very excited to go and watch it, and I remember getting there at the theater, and I was like thinking, is Tom Hanks going to be able to pull this off? Can somebody play Mr. Rogers? I'm so silly for doubting Tom Hanks because he pulled it off freakishly scary.
Well,
the first, before you say anything, the first 5 minutes of the film when Tom Hanks came out and he portrayed Mr. Rogers doing the show, it was scary. I was like, oh my God, he's even getting the way Mr. Rogers would just grunt almost when he would move. He was even getting the small details like that.
Well, we actually went together and watched this movie. We were together, and I remember the drive over there. I remember you did not, you were excited because we both love going to the movies, and we went and we got our snacks, which is something that we have to do, and we went and we sat down, and I could tell you were a little nervous. You get a little anxious sometimes, when you're a little fidgety.
You think I was nervous about what?
No, I don't know that necessarily you were nervous about the movie. I think that, this is somebody that I don't want to say idolize because I feel like you have a couple of people in this world that you really look up to, but you really look up to Fred Rogers.
Well, I thought that the world didn't deserve him.
Well, and I'm very observant. You've told me that 1,000 times. So I thought, I'm going to watch him without him realizing that I'm watching him. And I could never put into words the light that I seen come into your face when the movie started. Yeah. And I watched you throughout this movie, and I watched you get, I don't want to say emotional, because no, guys, he didn't cry, but I watched your body language, and you were happy, and you were jolly, and you were jovial by the time we were leaving. Yeah. And I was like, man.
Yeah. And then again, the movie also kind of makes you feel like a terrible human being, because you are so upset that somebody out there lived a life that good like Mr. Rogers, and you look at the way you live and most people live, and you're like, gosh, I need to be more like Fred Rogers. Because what I loved about Fred Rogers is when he talked to people, he looked at you in the eyes. And he acted like that you were the most important person in the room, and he acted like that you were the only person in the world that existed at that time. And he even said, you know what the most important thing in the world is right now? It's sitting here having a conversation with Amber Turner.
And that was what I took away from the movie was, yes, Fred Rogers was absolutely amazing. And guys, this is not going to be a boast, Adam's ego entire episode, but you are my Fred Rogers. The same way that Fred Rogers made you feel is the exact same way that you make me feel. You make me feel like I am the most important person in the room.
Well, thank you so much.
And I seen that. I seen the way that you looked at him, and I realized that's the same way I look at you when I'm talking to you. And I thought it was, that's why you're always, from here on out, you'll be the most fascinating person that I know, because you bring that to the world. And that's why I wanted to make sure I shared this movie with you, because I've done my own research, and we've talked about Mr. Rogers 1,000 times privately together, which, guys, we talk about weird things all the time. But that's why I made it a point to make sure we watched this movie together, was because I knew I wanted to have this conversation with you. I didn't know that I wanted to have it on the radio with you. I thought maybe we'll do it privately, but you are my Fred Rogers.
Well, I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much for saying that. The movie was fantastic. I recommend people to go out and watch the movie, give it a good view. Even if you watched Mr. Rogers growing up, or if you didn't, the kindness and the joy that he let out into the world is what this world needs more of. Unfortunately, he died a young man. He died from stomach cancer at the age of 75, and you wonder why somebody that great and somebody that good and somebody that kind and never had an ill word to say about anybody would die so young. But then you see evil people living to 95, 100 years old.
Well, because he had to make the way for other people to step up, and I think that's a role that I think you have stepped in for the people around you.
But the legacy that he left behind, and the work, his work that he left behind for all of us to enjoy for the rest of time, can't be unmatched, and the world is a better place for him. Well, unfortunately, Amber, it is out of time. We are out of time here on Off the Cuff, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You can check out all of our previous episodes to Off the Cuff by going to our Facebook page at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, checking out our episodes on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. We're all over the place. You can follow me at Adam Banks 818 on Instagram. Follow Amber on Instagram at Ambu447. That is Amber Turner. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next Thursday from 4 to 5. Have a great week.